Native English speakers. Do you ever watch movies with subtitles, even if the show is spoken in English? If yes, why? Cause I can't hear shit. Boom boom explosion. A dialogue. What is it with Netflix special actors and mumbling? What is it with Netflix directors constantly being okay with dialogue spoken in a whisper, while the fucking outside city noise is 5x louder? We get it. People honk horns and shit. It's not fucking important to the plot of the story though. The other reason why people use subtitles a lot these days is because either they can read faster and it's easier to follow than trying to hear the audio, and that the actual picture of the show/movie ain't as interesting as what's being said. Like when a main character is washing dishes. Who da fuck cares about what soap and sponge they are using? The only important thing in the scene is usually the dialogue 90% of the time. If the dialogue has low volume and the background noise is loud, it is likely not an issue with the actor speaking in a lower volume. Rather, it has to do with the sound engineer, maybe as instructed by the director, who is not adjusting the levels of the various sound inputs appropriately. Anybody who is trying to watch anything with a child in the room will tell you why. Bruh, I'm the kid and my parents are too loud, LMAO, that's why I need subtitles. Mom, could you and Aunt Sharon be just a bit quieter? My mom loves to talk on the phone extra loud when we're trying to watch TV. But God forbid anyone so much as breathes while she's watching The Real Housewives. Are you my daughter? Cause that's my wife. I just feel like my brain absorbs the information better if I'm watching and reading at the same time. My hearing is also trash, so subtitles allow me to know what the person said instead of guessing. If you don't have them already, have you thought about hearing aids? I saw a video recently that basically pointed out there is a stigma against getting hearing aids when you're younger or don't have them yet, which stops a lot of people from getting them. And, of course, a lot of those people could really benefit from having them. Of course, I don't know you or your situation, so if this doesn't apply, I apologize for assuming. I'm 19 and have had hearing aids since I was 11. I wore them consistently until I was about 13, when a few people gave me a hard time for having them. I guess it feels like everyone stares at you when they really aren't. I just can't be bothered cleaning and changing the batteries all of the time. My type of hearing loss, high-pitched hearing loss, makes certain words not as clear, so subtitles really help without having to strain as much. I'm sorry to hear that people gave you a hard time for needing them. It really isn't a choice when you're born with genetic predispositions, etc. I also totally get the social anxiety of everyone's judgings is about me. Don't really have any solutions to it, but I get it. I guess just keep on keeping on. You know your situation and what helps and doesn't help. Other than that, have a good day/night, my dude. Absolutely, especially with how sound effects and music are these days. I don't want to keep adjusting the volume in an action movie. Shows can be the same, especially on Netflix or Hulu. Ah yes, I see, that makes sense. For me, as English is my second language, some accents are pretty hard to understand, so sometimes I use English subtitles just for that reason. English is my first language and there are plenty of accents that I can have trouble understanding in the right circumstances. To say nothing of when actors just mumble a line really quickly. I can't believe some relatively big budget flicks that cast big name stars that are more or less inaudible due to actors just mumbling their lines. I even suspect that they were directed to talk like that. I mean, you don't make the list by being that way. Sometimes they speak so softly you can't hear what they said. I'm a native English speaker, and I do this. I only do it because I usually have it at a low sound level and want to know everything that's happening. Sometimes I don't want to have the volume high just to understand what is being said. Subtitles are very exact and also much faster to read than hear. The only time I turn off subtitles is if for some reason the subtitles are out of sync with the audio, which sometimes happens on Amazon. I've stopped watching shows because the subtitles are poorly synchronized with what's happening on screen. I get particularly annoyed when they're early. Dudes creeping through a warehouse and all of a sudden, / sound of dead wife's evil twin transforming into a werewolf comes up on the screen. A full 2 minutes before it can be heard. or when the subtitles are summaries of the dialogue instead of all of it. I've seen a few shows where the dialogue would be something funny/witty and the subtitles just give the bare minimum. E.g. instead of "Here comes Mr. Smartass," that the person actually said, the subtitles will read "Here you are, Steve," which is a bit too different emo. With my excessive TV watching during quarantine, I've found all subtitles to be inaccurate to some degree. The West Wing subtitles are practically just the gist. So inaccurate, which is wild for an Aaron Sorkin show, since his dialogue is so dense and precise. And just some dumb mistakes. On Parks and Rec you see a pirate ship shaped bouncy castle. He says "Arg, matey, pirate ship bouncy castle." But the subtitles managed "Arg, matey, power trip bouncy castle." Drives me crazy. Yeah, because I chew too loud. I've had to stop eating popcorn in movie theaters because I can't hear the dialogue over my own mastication. I mean, most of the time, everyone in a seat radius of a guy eating popcorn can't hear the movie. One of the only times I have ever walked out of a movie theater was when I was trying to see A Quiet Place. I broke my normal rule of waiting a couple weeks for theater crowds to die down because I was really excited for it and ended up surrounded by people that A. wouldn't shut the fuck up, B. kept munching on popcorn like they'd been starving themselves, and C. kept fumbling with loud ass candy/chip wrappers. The atmosphere of the theater totally ruined the movie for me since, you know, the whole point of the story was that there wasn't supposed to be any sound. I went like a week later and ended up in an almost empty screening room and the movie was much more enjoyable. Hell yeah. Auditory processing disorder. Baby. Oh yeah. Being able to understand what's happening is amazing. I wish movie theaters offered subtitles too. Not that it actually matters these days. I'm hearing impaired. Always wanted to try out the telecoil function of my hearing aids, but never go to movies. Apparently they can stream the movie directly to your ears with supporting hearing aids. I'd love to have some third glasses or something that only let me view the subs. My mom's hearing aids now do that with their TV. Through Bluetooth it gives the television audio directly to her earpieces. I don't know if it's everything or only certain services, but I think it's based on a Bluetooth connection to the television itself, where her ear hearing aids are just another speaker device, only smaller. Yes. For my TV and phone I have a little device that streams directly to my hearing aids. It's awesome. A little while ago they came out with a portable microphone device your peeps can clip to themselves, and it's like having their voice on a mic. Being hard of hearing sucks, but it's also a great time technology wise. I watch with subtitles because I remember it better afterwards. If I watch movies or shows without it, I won't remember it well. Same thing for me. I guess I'm paying more attention to the show if I have to read subtitles on the same time. Yeah, I always have. My husband is used to it now, but I feel like my brain processes the words quicker, and I find it hard to sometimes hear it, especially if there's background music. Does it bother you when the subtitles are sometimes little bit off from the words that they are saying on the movie? Bother? No. But notice? Yeah. Particularly in YouTube videos, where they'll have put the script in as the captioning, but then didn't change it when they changed up a word or whatever in the actual take. Bother? No. Infuriate? Yes. I literally cannot have both, because it's like it confuses my brain. I'd rather just mute it and use subtitles. But other people watching don't go for it. I hate when the subtitle spoils something important because I read the words they are gonna say before they say them. I started using subtitles because my so isn't a native English speaker. Now I just like it, haha. Same here. It's kinda strange when the subtitles off, I almost feel a little lost. Lol. Not native English speaker, but I like subtitles on my native language too. I have trouble understanding things through speakers or headphones. Also why I hate talking on the phone. I can understand people just fine IRL, but I'll have trouble on recorded stuff or call. We rely a lot more on lip reading in real life than we realize. And body language. And general context. And tone. Just yeah, for millions of years we've been communicating face to face, so we evolved the ability to discern communication even when back then our language might have been no more complex than grunts and squeals. Yes, because sometimes I can't catch what people are saying when they talk fast, but I'm good at reading fast. Yes, mostly because it's really difficult to understand what is being said during important scenes of a movie/show. When the music is 50 times louder than the dialogue, there is a feature of loudness equalization on Windows plus Realtek. This plays everything at same volume, so explosions get quieter and whispers become louder. Windows 10, Control Panel, Sound, Playback, select your audio output, Properties, Enhancements, Loudness Equalization. This can also help you get an edge in games like FPS games, where you can use sound to get enemy position. Although you lose the ability to tell how far the sound source is, as every sound is almost equal loudness. I usually watch British media with subtitles, because the accents can be rough sometimes, especially Scottish. Within Scotland, Glasgow is the worst offender. Geez. Some British accents are so hard for me to understand. I'm glad some native speakers are having the same issue, haha. English is weird like that. In the US, I know a lot of people have trouble with AAVE and Appalachian. I have to watch The Wire with subtitles, and I'm from Maryland. I'm from Ireland and only need subs for an initial few minutes when Snoop was introduced. Found that accent very difficult at first, but no other problems with any of the accents. I think in Ireland we watch so much British and American TV that accents are never really an issue. Yes, I have ads, so sometimes I don't hear things properly, or I don't like for the TV to be up very loud. Sudden and loud noises startle me. I watch everything with subtitles or closed captioning if it's available. Audio processing issues are common for many people, especially those with disorders such as ADD and autism. My wife and daughter have ADHD, and my other daughter is deaf. So between the three of them, subtitles have become a necessity in our household. I just appreciate not having to watch things at full volume. Yes, when people are sleeping, got to use subtitles. I'll occasionally put on subtitles whenever there's too much noise in my environment, or if I didn't initially hear/understand what a character said in response to something. Yes, I can read really fast. Some people talk like they have marbles in their mouths, and I can keep the volume low. Watched too much anime and got used to reading the subtitles. Now if I don't have subtitles, I'll still find myself looking for the bottom of the screen. Same. Had to start using it on everything, video games, sports, etc. I do it because I found out I misunderstood dialogue from time to time. I'm a native English speaker, but every once in a while an accent, even a Native American one, can be misunderstood. I have auditory processing issues. Reading is easier. Interesting. I had to look up APD. I didn't even know that was a thing. Were you officially diagnosed with this? Or is it something you know you have? I comprehend much more when I'm reading content, as opposed to just watching something. Combining the two is even better, but reading has just been a better learning mechanism for myself. Same. I have known all my life that it's hard to understand people's words / takes me longer to translate what is said so I can respond. But yes, I have an official DX. 2. Background noises make things nearly impossible for me. Example, if I'm in a restaurant, I will probably be far more aware of what is said 3 tables over than right next to me. Reading and listening is far easier for me than just listening. COVID-19 has made it very difficult as well, because voices are muffled and I can't even look at the mouth to try to get the gist of it. Dude, I thought I was crazy. This is a thing. I've passed hearing tests, but can't make out what anyone is saying half the time. I mostly have to guess based on context. Yeah, it's a thing. When I got diagnosed with an attentive ADHD by a licensed mental health counselor, she told me about 50% of people with the inattentive type also have an auditory processing disorder. So I got tested by an audiologist and found out I also have it. I didn't know what it was until like a few months before I got evaluated for ADHD, but it really clicked with me when I first read through the symptoms, so I just had to mention it to my counselor. It's definitely a thing. The reason you passed hearing tests, like I did, is because auditory processing disorders are in the brain, not the actual ears. You have to know where to look to be able to find it. In our particular cases, our hearing problems are actually in our brains, which is why it's a processing disorder and not a hearing disorder. We can hear. We just can't process what it is that we are hearing. If your phone stops charging because the electrical outlet went out, you're not going to solve the problem by plugging another charging cable into the same spot. Sadly, not many people know about this disorder, so I just say I have hearing disorder to avoid having to explain more things to people.